Have you ever wondered how you would start your day if you woke up in space? It's a truly unique experience, waking up in a zero-gravity environment. The familiar comforts of a warm bed and the reassuring pull of gravity are replaced by the sensation of floating and the sight of an ever-rotating Earth below. Managing sleep schedules becomes a challenge as the regular cycle of day and night that we're accustomed to on Earth doesn't exist in space. Astronauts use Greenwich Mean Time to keep track of their sleep schedules, closely mimicking a typical 24-hour Earth day. Sleeping itself is an interesting affair. Astronauts have to strap themselves to a wall in their sleeping quarters to prevent floating around. Imagine no more rolling over in your sleep. So, waking up in space is not as simple as hitting the snooze button on Earth. It's a whole new world of adjustments and adaptations, all part of the incredible journey of living among the stars. Now that we're awake, how about some breakfast? In space, preparing and consuming food is a unique experience. Astronauts dine on specially packaged meals designed to withstand the rigors of space travel. These aren't your typical scrambled eggs or bacon strips. Instead, think of a high-tech TV dinner, scientifically engineered for optimum nutrition and long shelf life. The food is freeze-dried, dehydrated, and vacuum-sealed. To enjoy a meal, astronauts simply add water to rehydrate the food. Yes, even the coffee requires a bit of H2O before it's ready to drink, but the real adventure begins when it's time to eat. In zero gravity, every morsel, every crumb, is a potential floating hazard. Astronauts must carefully manage their meals to prevent a mess. It's a delicate dance, a ballet of the breakfast table, performed among the stars. Eating breakfast in space, it's not your usual cereal and milk. With breakfast out of the way, it's time to get to work. Imagine your office being hundreds of kilometers above the Earth, surrounded by an infinite expanse of space. That's the reality for our astronauts. A typical day of work in space is a carefully choreographed ballet of tasks. These tasks range from maintaining the spacecraft to conducting scientific experiments that could change our understanding of life as we know it. Now, maintaining a spacecraft isn't quite like changing a light bulb or fixing a leaky faucet. It's a complex job that involves monitoring systems, troubleshooting problems, and sometimes even venturing outside the spacecraft for repairs. This is all done in a hostile environment where the smallest mistake can have serious consequences. Then there are the experiments. These aren't your high school chemistry lab experiments. These are state-of-the-art scientific inquiries aimed at understanding the mysteries of the universe. From studying the effects of zero gravity on the human body to growing plants in space, these experiments are paving the way for future space exploration and even the possibility of colonizing other planets. Communication is another essential part of an astronaut's job. They regularly check in with mission control, providing updates and getting instructions. This communication link with Earth is vital, serving as a lifeline and a tether to home. But it's not all work and no play. Exercise is an important part of the daily routine. In the absence of gravity, astronauts risk losing muscle mass and bone density. To combat this, they spend about 2 hours each day doing specially designed workouts. Imagine running on a treadmill or lifting weights while floating in midair. It's a surreal gym experience that's critical to keeping our astronauts healthy. So, as you can see, a day's work in space is anything but ordinary. It's a mix of high-stakes maintenance work, groundbreaking scientific research, and a gym routine that would put any Earthbound workout to shame. A day's work in space, it's not just floating around. After a long day at work, even astronauts need to unwind. Just like us, they have their own unique ways of relaxing and recharging. Picture this: floating in zero gravity, astronauts might indulge in a good book or a movie. Some might even find solace in the mesmerizing view of Earth, capturing photographs that we could only dream of taking. Unwinding isn't just about relaxation, though. In the vast expanse of space, with Earth a distant blue dot, maintaining mental well-being becomes crucial. The isolation, the confinement, it's a world away from what we're used to. But it's in these extraordinary circumstances that astronauts find their comfort. They might spin a globe, tracing the continents and oceans with a fingertip. They might listen to music, the familiar melodies grounding them amidst the alien environment. They might even engage in a friendly game of floating chess. Because unwinding in space, it's about finding comfort in the extraordinary. And finally, when the work is done, it's time to sleep. Now, you might think that after a long day of spacewalks and experiments, astronauts would just flop down on a bed and drift off. But in space, there's no up or down, no soft mattress to sink into. So how do astronauts sleep in space? They use specially designed sleeping bags tethered to the wall. It might not sound cozy, but these bags ensure astronauts don't float around and bump into sensitive equipment during their slumber. They zip themselves in, adjust their comfort, and then it's lights out. But here's the interesting part. Imagine trying to fall asleep while constantly falling. That's what sleeping in space is like. The sensation of free fall never stops, even when astronauts close their eyes. It's a totally different experience from what we're used to here on Earth. Sleeping in space, it's like falling asleep while falling. And with that thought, we'll leave our astronauts to their dreams among the stars. So, what have we learned about a day in the life of an astronaut? Let's take a moment to reflect. We've seen that every sunrise brings a unique challenge when you're waking up in zero gravity. From the moment they open their eyes, astronauts have to navigate a world where the rules of physics as we know them are turned on their head. Mealtime is a cosmic experience, with breakfast enjoyed among the stars. But what seems like a dream to us is just another day for our space explorers. The workday in the void is filled with tasks that push the boundaries of human capability, all while orbiting our planet at a speed that's hard to comprehend. And when the day winds down, there's no ordinary lights out. Instead, astronauts surrender to sleep in a place where night and day cease to exist. Life in space, it's a remarkable testament to human ingenuity and perseverance. The resilience and adaptability of these astronauts are truly out of this world.